I have been eyeballing this stump for a couple weeks now, trying to think of the easiest thing I could do, something practical, not too hard or ridiculous, to remove this stump. And I think I finally come up with the solution. But before I get started, we need to replace this pin on this chain. I don't know how I bent that thing, but I did. And I don't have another pin, but I do have two grade 8 bolts. And the biggest one of the bolts is going to be the one that goes in there. Simple as that. I'm trying to judge the distance from the chain to the stump. The cable I'm going to use for my pulleys is about 20 foot long. So after I run it through 2 or 3 times, I'm kind of hoping it's going to be long enough. I'm just gauging it right now. But another weird thing I'm going to do, and this is completely not necessary, this is just for fun. I have these brackets I made, for whatever reason, that I'm going to bolt to the side of the stump. I mean, I can use these for whatever. I can weld them to something or bolt them down. But instead of using straps like a normal person, I'm just going to bolt these on here and see if I can tear these lag bolts out of the stump while I'm at it. I'm just curious. So after I got everything rigged up, I have a 3-to-1 pulley ratio going on here. So what I'm really wanting to see if these lag bolts are gonna hold. I bet it rips them out. But we'll see. So I got 1, 2, 3 cables. The one over here with the yellow strap on it, you can't count that one. All it does is change the direction of the pull. And now as far as them plates staying mounted to the stump, there ain't no way this is gonna work. It's gonna tear them things right out. That's what I'm betting. But when it does, I can always throw a strap around it. But who knows? Let's see what happens. Now that's my 12-year-old driving my truck, and I think it's funny how the headlights kind of flash when the camera hits it. They don't do that normally, it's just a camera thing. But anyhow, we have already tried this, say, a month ago, so I know this stump ain't gonna pull. I'm kind of just doing this to show how well the new idea is going to work. So hang in there. We'll get the stump pulling in just a minute. I do have my truck locked in four-wheel drive, and after it starts spinning out and sliding side to side, all it did was just kind of crack the dirt around the stump. No big deal, nothing to brag about. But what I've been thinking about was when we have straight line winds and they get up around 50, 60 mile an hour, that's a great time to go outside and fly a kite or see how hard you can hit a golf ball. That's a great time to get a max distance on the driving range. But when it rains and the wind is blowing 50 or 60 mile an hour, that's when you start seeing trees fall over. Well, since it hasn't rained out here in about the last year or so, we might as well live out in the desert somewhere. I got to create my own little water hole. So I'm going to dig a small little moat around this stump. And after checking the video clip, it only took me right at 8 minutes to dig that little moat. It doesn't have to be deep, just enough to hold some water. And I just fill it full of water, and I let the hose pipe lay in that thing and just trickle water all night long. And then in the morning, I'm going to get up and check it, and we're going to pull this stump. Alright, it's the next morning. The water's been trickling all night long. So as soon as I get everything hooked up, we're going to try to pull this stump. After the ground had soaked all night long, I had a little wishful thinking, I just wonder if it will pull out with just the strap, with no pulleys and cables or nothing. Let's just tie a strap to it and see what happens. Well, nothing happens. No surprise there. In case you're wondering why I didn't just hook to the cables to begin with, I took everything off and put it under the porch so my cables and pulleys wouldn't lay outside and get the dew on them and take a chance on them getting rusty. So after I get all that stuff hooked back up, it's time to pull this stump out of the ground. Well, I knew that was going to happen from the get-go. Anybody else surprised? But they did hold on a lot longer than I had expected. That's good. That's good. Oh, nosy cat's got to see what's going on. But it looks like the water trick worked. Other than the bracket ripping off the top of the tree, there was nothing to that. Of course, we was expecting that to happen anyway. But it seems like adding water to it may be the answer to stump pulling after all. This ain't the first stump that I have pulled out of the ground, and through my experience, it's best to leave the stump laying right there by the hole and go ahead and knock all the dirt off of that root ball and throw it back in the hole. I don't want to drag the stump off and then have to wheelbarrow the dirt off the stump back to the hole. It's easier just to do it now. There's one root that just didn't want to come out with the rest of them. But no pulleys or nothing needed here. Just tied the strap to it and ripped this sucker out of the ground. I like to keep all my chains and pull straps in a bag. Nothing gets tangled up in your toolbox of your truck bouncing up and down the road. The weird thing is I don't even know where that bag come from. I don't own any Bosch tools. Guess it's just one of those things I've had for so long, I don't know where I got it. Rush is using the lawnmower to smooth the dirt out and pack it in a little bit. He drives the lawnmower, the boat, the truck. He's our equipment operator here at the house. But I guess this goes to show that the best time for stump pulling is when the ground is wet. I mean, in all, this whole thing didn't take but about an hour. Other than waiting all night for the water to run, of course. But there was nothing to this. I didn't have no trouble at all getting the stump out of the ground. So I hope I was able to help somebody with this video. But like always, thank you so very much for watching here at the house.